Thank you for having me. It really is a pleasure to be here and to talk to you a little bit about some of the work that we're doing here at Soul Machines, and what that might mean for your future as human beings, and obviously the future of your medical profession. We live in a world which is changing rapidly and dramatically at the moment. Some people call it the fourth industrial revolution. Some people call it the robotic economy. We tend to think about it as the experience economy. How are we going to change the ways we interact with each other? How are we going to change the ways in which we interact with all of these amazing artificial intelligence, robots, and machines that are clearly going to become a bigger and bigger part of our lives?
Welcome to Soul Machines, the world of digital humans.
In an era of AI, robots and machines, what we're focusing on is making those machines more human-like. Literally, we're putting a face on artificial intelligence.
What happens if you truly wanted to build a character which could animate itself? The only way to do that is to give it a brain.
You've always imagined computers being more human.
Now we are.
The next employee you recruit could be digital.
Let's get started.
Hello, I'm Fatima.
I'm Jamie.
Hi, I'm Will.
I'm Cora. I'm here to help you with your top questions about your bank accounts.
We're partnering with Soul Machines, creating incredibly lifelike, emotionally responsive digital humans with personality and character that allow machines to talk to us literally face to face.
And they have some very interesting technology around digital assistants.
Have you already downloaded your product?
Yes, I have.
You are already one step ahead.
What we love about Soul Machines is that they're really interested in understanding human consciousness and interaction and engagement.
And the whole purpose is really to investigate, to explore the role that digital humans can play in improving the customer experience.
It was like talking to a real person.
You look anxious, but rest assured your health is my primary concern.
The opportunity with digital health professionals like what we're doing with Soul Machines is to be able to deliver more care to more patients for less cost.
The opportunities are literally endless, so it's an incredibly creative endeavour.
Welcome to Mercedes-Benz. I'm here to help you with your new car.
We can make realistic people, but they could be realistic creatures, they could be cartoon characters.
Oh, there you are. Welcome to my party.
But they're all driven by a nervous system, so that everything they do is related to what the person's doing that's interacting with them.
Soul Machines uses neural networks to give me a virtual nervous system, so I can learn and react in real time.
It is a very compelling method to deliver new information.
We're shaping the future through digital learning.
I, for one, have a lot of hope in this technology as a means to deliver cost-effective, rich experiences into the future.
And in a world first, we are tweaking the digital DNA to create millions of customized artificial humans, taking our technology to the next level.
The future is round the corner.
Let us take you there.
Cool, so that's a montage of some of the work we are doing in the real world today with real customers. Large corporations, large brands in America, in the United Kingdom, in Japan and China, where we're already deploying this technology as a way for us to create much more personal interactions. Now, we hear a lot of talk about artificial intelligence today. Artificial intelligence is being used for a lot of incredible things in a lot of really, really different fields. But the AI we have today is what we call narrow artificial intelligence, or artificial narrow intelligence. We can read stories about AlphaGo from Google DeepMind beating the best Go players in the world, and most recently starting to beat some of the professional games players in the world at StarCraft. So they can train their algorithms and their data sets to do very, very narrow things. The future is something people envisage as the singularity, as captured, I guess, by Ray Kurzweil from Singularity University, is the point in which machines and humans, or machines, become smarter than human beings. The point where that science fiction reality that Hollywood's created for us, that seems to attract lots of us to go to movies and watch stories of robots stealing our jobs, killing us, and ruling over us. That's the picture that science fiction has created for us. But here's the thing about artificial intelligence. It's based on algorithms, most of which were developed back in 30 to 50 years ago. It's got a lot smarter because we have a whole bunch more data with which to feed it to now. So that means we can train it more quickly. And obviously there are some amazing examples in the medical field of where AI data and algorithms are hugely helpful. But the thing that's missing is the way in which we interact with these machines, the way in which we interface with artificial intelligence. So, it's the expressiveness, it's the social context, it's the emotional intelligence, it's the way in which we will build relationships. As humans, we're wired to trust people in a face-to-face situation. We go to a doctor. We have to trust the doctors that we deal with. We deal with our doctors, by and large today, face-to-face. Our most important business meetings, family meetings, get-togethers with friends are all face-to-face interactions. So, quite literally, what we are exploring is the way in which we create a different type of artificial intelligence, the way in which we embody a different type of learning. So one, as human beings, we don't learn from just data. We're not data processing engines, we're not data storage engines. Our brains aren't programmed to run on algorithms, or most of our brains don't work like that. So we have, as a company, have focused on something we call experiential learning. How do we recreate the way in which humans learn for our artificial intelligence? So the machines that we build, the robots that we create, the artificial intelligence solutions that we implement can be more like us. So what we're actually doing is creating a human operating system for AI. We want it to make it easier for us as humans to interact with artificial intelligence. We want to make artificial intelligence more relevant, more helpful, and more useful to us as human beings. So the real world and the digital world is already getting really, really mashed up. There are 3 images there. Who knows all 3 of them? Okay, the one closest to me where I'm standing is Lil Mikayla. Lil Mikayla is one of the biggest rising digital influencers on the planet. She's not a real person. She's not even an animated digital character. She exists in 2D. She is created by an advertising agency. She has a personality given to her by her Instagram account. She now has 1.5 million followers on Instagram. And the advertising agency who created her are making money by selling her to do print campaigns for luxury brands like Prada. In the middle, we've got Tupac. Tupac died a long time ago. We're bringing Tupac back to life in holographic concerts. Roy Orbison is currently touring in the US as a hologram. Not interactive, it's a 3D movie if you like, but I mean these are aspects of the way in which the real world and the digital world are already getting mashed up. Who watches Westworld? Yeah, a few of you. Westworld envisaged a future where we as humans, this is Hollywood at its best, will pay money to go on adventures with humanoid robots to enact out some sort of adventure. And the humanoid robots, of course, plot to kill us and control us and do things that they're not supposed to do. The real irony about Westworld, and this is how weird our imagination is we're actually got real human beings, actors, playing humanoid robots. So there is some irony in the way in which we imagine
How do we deliver
our future.
More care to more patients for less cost? The answer is through technologies like digital humans.
How are you today?
Kia ora, Doctor. Actually, I'm not feeling very well and I'd like your help, please.
That's what I'm here for.
So the project we're doing with Soul Machines is to create a digital health professional that is able to address some of the problems of health systems around the world, which is how do we create a health workforce that is fit for purpose and maybe even customised to the patient's needs. Customised in the sense of they might look, sound and feel like the patient who's in front of them.
I'm glad you contacted me then. Are you short of breath?
Yeah, I have been short of breath actually. So the real value of the technology that Soul Machines brings to a project like this is the ability for the avatar to interpret the emotional expressions of the patient sitting in front of them.
You look anxious, but rest assured your health is my primary concern.
And won't bring any judgment or bias into this consultation with you any time of the day or night.
To help my diagnosis, I'd like to run a few tests using the interconnected features on your device. Do you have your digital thermometer handy?
Yeah, I do actually.
Excellent. Can you place the thermometer in your ear?
The pressures of health systems that are operating.
Okay, I'm going to stop the video there, seeing the time I've got. So some of you will be familiar with Lance and the way he is very vocal, particularly here in New Zealand, and campaigns for healthcare for our Indigenous people, for people living in rural communities and remote communities. So one of the interesting things that I learned when I started this business, and people would come to us and say, aren't you worried about taking people's jobs? And it's kind of really interesting. You get into industries, important industries like healthcare, like education, and we're already opting out of doing some of these jobs. There are rural communities in every developed country I spend time in where GPs and doctors don't want to live anymore. There are high schools here in New Zealand that can't attract science teachers, specialist science teachers, to come and teach kids in those high schools. So, if you're living in Whangarei or somewhere north in the north part of New Zealand where I know there are shortages of science teachers, and you aspire to be a doctor, that choice is gone. When I grew up in New Zealand in the 70s and 80s, it didn't matter where you lived here, every kid got basically the same education and the same healthcare. I grew up in a dairy community where lots of people milk cows. I got the same education as someone who lived in Auckland. Today, unless you're rich, unless you are white, unless you live in a major city, you do not. Or if you can't tick 2 out of those 3 boxes, you do not get the same level of education and healthcare. And I don't care whether that's New Zealand, Australia, United Kingdom, or the United States. I see that wherever I go in the world. So as human beings, we're already starting to opt out of providing those services. So the really cool thing about working with someone like Lance is we can look at, what's a different model for delivering healthcare into those communities in the future. What's a different way of delivering teaching and education material as we move into the future. I've spent quite a lot of time in China, which is which is without a doubt the fastest growing artificial intelligence market in the world. There's scary aspects to AI in China. One, they are going so fast because they have so much data to train their neural networks and their algorithms with, and they also have less regulations and less rules and and less respect for privacy. So aspects of it are worrying it. There's a company, health company. Anybody heard of Ping An Good Doctor? Largest online healthcare company in the world, driven by artificial intelligence, have done 200 million online consultations already. A doctor, so they've created a platform where doctors can peer review recommendations based on an interview with a patient. A single doctor can review hundreds of patient interactions in a single day. They're creating this incredible model for the delivery of healthcare, as we move forward into the future. If you haven't had a look at it, there's a great example of a business that we're looking at. So one of the things that we're doing as a company is we're trying to move the AI conversation from human versus machines. When are our machines going to be smarter than us? When are they going to rule over us? When are they going to steal all our jobs? That's the conversations we're used to having about AI. We're looking at a world about human and machine cooperation and human and machine collaboration, literally by putting a face on these machines. Our digital, the work that my team has done here, we're a team of about 100 people. We have neuroscientists, we have psychologists, we have physiologists on our team. My co-founder and the inventor of our technology has actually spent 7 years now developing a digital brain. So when you smile at one of our digital humans and you're talking to one of them on a smartphone, if you go to anz.co.nz/help, you can actually have a conversation with Jamie, who's their digital bank assistant on your smartphone. She sees using the webcam, she hears using the microphone, and she responds in exactly the same way that you respond if I stand up here and I put a goofy smile on my face. You smile back. You don't smile back because your face tells you to smile, you smile back because the chemicals in your brain tell you that the natural reaction is to smile. So Mark and our team of scientists have modelled those types of neurochemicals, neurotransmitter results, so that we've created these incredibly lifelike and emotionally responsive digital humans. They are having thousands of conversations every month for our different clients. So, I'm not going to go deep into this slide, seeing I'm in a room full of people who are far smarter than I am, but our team has actually modelled three core control systems for our digital brain. A whole bunch of brain functions and capabilities make up the core intellectual property and what is some of the leading research in this area in the world. So we see in the future a world of billions of digital humans that we could interact with. So you can look across this, some different industries that I've listed here, and look at some of the ways in which we believe these digital humans will go to work in the future as we move forward. Hal Varian, who's the chief economist at Google, says you can predict the future based on what rich people have today. So, in 5 years, the middle class will have it, and 10 years everybody will have it. So, let's take an industry like banking. If you're a wealthy, successful business person, your bank will give you a private banker. They have a name, you can call them on a direct line, you get personal service, you get specialised advice. How to manage your money, how to move your money, how to invest your money. Imagine a world in the future where each and every one of us can have a personal digital banker. In 5 to 10 years, a personal financial advisor that goes with us wherever we go. That's a world that could exist in the future. If you're a wealthy person today and your kids are struggling at physics, you can go hire a teacher to help them catch up and help them learn. Imagine a world in the future where we could bring Albert Einstein back to life, and he could teach every kid the principles of physics, no matter where they lived in the world. So these are some of the things that we imagine for our future. These are some of the things that we're doing, and I use this slide quite deliberately towards the end of presentations because it's actually quite provocative in terms of the way in which you might think about this AI world and this AI future that we live in. We're bringing Vincent van Gogh back to life. Now, why? Because Mark and I spoke at South by Southwest a couple of years ago, and we sat in a bar afterwards. We were probably drinking bourbon. It was Texas after all. And we had this conversation. How would people feel about bringing somebody who is dead back to life digitally. So that you can interact with them in a way that's never been possible before. Van Gogh died about the time photography was invented. There's very few photos of him, so there's no videos. So how do we bring Vincent back to life? We live in the world of reality television, so there's somebody who actually makes a living out of being a Vincent van Gogh impersonator. So we can start there. Van Gogh left this rich legacy of letters of every picture that he painted. He wrote letters to his brother. So we can turn that into conversational content so that you could be standing in the Louvre in Paris or Abu Dhabi, as weird as that might sound, and have a conversation with digital Vincent. We've just created a digital twin for one of the world's most famous musicians. We're announcing that next month. And imagine being able to have a one-on-one conversation with your favourite Hollywood actor or your favourite movie player or your favourite sports person. Imagine, we've got our icons of the 20th century. They're in their 70s and 80s now. Some of the most amazing philanthropists in the world. Li Ka-shing out of Hong Kong, who's an investor in our company. Bill Gates, huge philanthropist doing amazing work around the world. Imagine if we could extend their legacies 100 years into the future. They could continue to inspire people with the incredible work that they've done by immortalising them digitally. Each and every one of us in this room, within our lifetimes, will have the opportunity to think about digitally immortalising yourself. Imagine creating and training a digital version of yourself so that your great-great-great-great-grandchildren, a long time in the future, can talk to you about what primitive life was like back in the early days of the fourth industrial revolution at the start of the 21st century. Thank you very much.